I think we're experiencing a bit of a technical glitch. It seems that Serene jumped off. We'll obviously wait a couple of
Yeah,
seconds for him to jump back on.
yeah.
Indeed. Serene, are you
Okay,
with
he's back.
us?
Okay, I'm back. As always, the best start is the internet problem when you're about to present.
No worries.
Okay, let me just try and share my screen quickly. Okay, great. I think it should be good this time. Correct, you should be able to see the slideshow right now.
Yep, we can see
Yes,
it.
we can see.
Okay, cool. Let me just present it full screen. Yeah, so thank you for everyone. Well, hello again. Like mentioned, my name is Serene, based in Senegal, ALE alumni, and I will be here to talk to you a bit about market research and data analysis in Africa. If ever my internet bugs out, please just someone let me know so then I can just switch to my data just in case. Yeah, and this info session is kind of just like, do a bit of a deep dive in the work that we do with Daniela at YUX and Luca. And yeah, it's gonna try to make it a bit interactive, so I will kind of need your participation. Of course, you don't necessarily have to speak out loud, but make sure to at least put some messages in the chat. So there's gonna be some instances where I'll be asking you some questions, so you can just participate at the same time. It's going to be a quick session. I'm going to try to make it a bit interactive, not too long. And then at the end, you guys, of course, can ask any of the questions that you have to me and Daniela. Great. So yeah, so let's get right to it. So yeah, so this is just a run through of what the presentation is going to look like. So I'm going to talk a bit about myself, talk about a bit about my journey at YUX and Luca, tell you about what market research is, the different key stages in market research, why you should conduct it, including the data analysis side. Talk a bit about AI because we have to get into the AI hype nowadays. And yeah, and then at the end, I think Daniela will deep dive a bit into like the different opportunities to join YUX. So yeah, so we'll start here. So yeah, so who am I? So my name is Serene Fall, based in Dakar, Senegal. I'm 26-year-old, but I lied because I didn't update the slide this one, but I'm actually 27. And the three things that I love is food, traveling, and podcasts. So I'm a foodie. It's literally the only reason why I could go broke is spending money on going to restaurants and trying new types of food. I love doing a lot of traveling, discovering new countries, especially like within the African continent. And I am at this point addicted to podcasts. I think I listen a bit too much of that content right now, but yeah, it's things that I love to do. Uh, in terms of education, so like mentioned, yeah, so inaugural class of ALU in the Mauritius campus and have a degree in electrical power systems engineering. Also do have like a certification in product marketing management for those who might be interested. And in terms of professional experience, I have like a diverse set of companies that I've worked with. So Dalberg more on the management consulting side, ABB, which is like purely electrical engineering, working in power stations and all of that, building up relays. Also have experience working with YUX, mainly to help launch their design academy that I did a couple of years back. And yeah, and since now the past 4 years, been working at Luca, trying to help companies conduct market research across the continent, and also have a bit of experience working at Razi in the early stages of the company. So just to give you a bit of a story of YUX. So YUX is a research and design agency based out of Dakar, Senegal, which was started in 2016 by three of the co-founders, Camille, Daniel, and Yan, who started by giving, free UX trainings and workshops in Senegal. And then throughout the years, they were able to build out their businesses, starting to work with like bigger companies, especially on the Francophone side of things. So with Orange as being one of their key clients at the beginning. After in 2019, they launched the academy, and the point of the academy was to be able to help develop the next generation of designers and researchers across the continent, which I helped launch during my first stint there. And then a year later, they launched Luca, which I'm currently working at, which is, the market research platform dedicated to be able to do market research across the continent. And then yeah, as time went on, of course, the agency has developed to the point where now they have around 40 employees full-time working there. And I've been, being able to work on some interesting stuff like publishing the first state of user research, which was, very specific to the African community, which wasn't really available at the time. And now is, research and design partners for big companies like Google and Wikimedia in Africa. So this is just to give you like a quick stint of the story and how the company has grown throughout the years. So yeah, it's now almost 10 years strong since the co-founders have been working on this. And yeah, and still the company's still growing. Yeah, so the point of YUX, it's really to like we imagine an Africa where people are, can create their future based on their needs and culture and identity. So the whole point of it is to, through user experience, design, being to help make products and services, adapted to the African context and helping organizations to be able to build those products and services in a very efficient manner. So more about my journey specifically at YUX and Luca. So I started out at YUX a couple of years back, working as a project manager, and my main task was to, to be able to launch the YUX Academy and design the whole curriculum around that, and handle everything on the more operational sides when it comes to like budgets and logistics. And then I transferred into Luca when Luca was launched inside YUX to be able to help them, especially on the growth end. So everything from structuring the brand identity to handling the communications and the marketing, and then owning and structuring the whole onboarding process for all our customers that will be using our services. And then after that, I got promoted into becoming co-founder and business leader of Luca, which is like an independent business unit within YUX. And at this point now, for the past 3 years, I've been, helping pretty much handling all the whole business vertical, which is sales strategy, implementing the sales strategy, designing it, coordinating all the client projects that we have, working on the growth side, on the marketing, but also on business development. And yeah, and it's what I've been doing now for the past couple of years, and hoping to continue doing that for a long time. And yeah, to give you just to get an idea of what Luca is specifically, after I've kind of talked to you about YUX. So for Luca, what we are is we're a market research platform. We're bridging the gap between organizations and African consumers. So pretty much what we do is we combine the power of like digital tools with networks of local research trained surveyors, but also our panel of participants, to help consumer data be accessible to all. And now we've been working on it since 2019, 2020, have now a presence across like 20 countries across the continent. So between Sub-Saharan and North Africa, have like a network of like 400 trained local surveyors, and have been working with, many different types of clients. So now, so I don't bore you too much, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So easy question, what is market research? And, don't hesitate. You can either put your answers in the chat, or you can even just unmute yourself and start giving out answers. I'll give you like a quick 2 minutes just to, put out whatever definition. Just don't go on ChatGPT and copy paste your answers. So yeah, anyone interested in giving their responses or typing in the chat?
Sometimes, Siri, we have to deal with a bit of a challenging audience.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
of
you know how it is, right?
course.
So please, guys, this is an opportunity, a great opportunity to learn from one of the people from our community.
Oh, I
Oh,
think,
here we go.
yeah, we have a hand raised.
Yeah, me. I'm assuming market research is researching what like consumers need, right, for the market.
Yeah, that's a good response. I'll take that. Do we have another answer in the chat? Market research is from Ayomide. Market research is the validation process to know if a problem actually exists in the community and if people want it solved. I would have never said it like that. You guys are actually quite smart. I think market research is exploring how the market is based on your project, and mainly done to search for product market fit. Okay. Yeah. I see you guys have a good idea, which is pretty cool. We'll just take a last one, which is finding out the needs of a company. That's an answer that can work. Yeah. Someone else wants to speak? I think
but I was struggling with raising my hand. Can
You're
you hear
saying?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I was saying that I'm not I'm not Zoom regular, so I was struggling with raising my hand.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, go on, speak. You can speak.
Yeah, so for me, I think market research is something like a research, as it says, that makes you more aware about the users' needs, basically, preferences, needs, so that you tailor your product accordingly. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, you guys say it better than I am, and I'm supposed to be the professional here. So market research is defined. Thank you guys for the participation, of course. It's defined as a process of evaluating the feasibility of a new product or service, through research that's conducted directly with potential consumers. So you have specifically divided into two, primary research and secondary research. So secondary research is what we all do quite easily, is going on Google, typing out question, being able to look at official documents, books, databases, articles to be able to find answers to specific questions that we have. And then you have primary research where you get direct answers from the respondents. So this is when you organize surveys on Google Forms, send it out to people so they can respond. When you do focus groups, face-to-face interviews using phone, online surveys, and everything. Yeah, but I think you guys have a good sense of what market research is. Really, finding the answers to specific questions that you have to help you reach a specific goal, of course, which could be building a new product or service. Yeah, and then you have, different types of methods. So you have quantitative methods, you also have qualitative methods. So this one's here, I like ice cream, so I figured this example would be super easy to understand. So when it comes to quantitative methods, of course, it's okay. You're trying to get a snapshot of the market. So you're trying to get like some data that will like validate what you have in mind. So here, example, in this example, he was like only 1 in 30 take the free ice cream, which is a specific type of insight that's interesting. And then you also have the qualitative, which is, oh, what did you feel when you saw the ice cream? There's like, okay, we only saw that 1 in 30 people have taken the free ice cream, but now we're asking for the person who actually took the ice cream what they felt when they got it. And as you can see, like both those insights are not the same, but they also go well together. And this is how you kind of get like comprehensive insights of, okay, the people who take the ice cream took it because they felt like this, which is kind of like helps you like get a very good comprehensive understanding of your market. So now we're going to the second set of questions, which is, what is data analysis and market research? So we're gonna do it again. Don't be shy. You can unmute yourselves and just start talking. You can also put the answers in the chat. I'll give you like 1 to 2 minutes. You guys are actually quite active, so I'm very curious to see what you guys have here as your answers. So yeah, you can put your answers in the chat. You can also unmute yourself. There's no wrong answers. I mean, there are wrong answers, but there's no wrong answers. So yeah. Yeah, are you muted? You have your hand raised. You can unmute yourself if you want.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
So for me, data analysis and market research, it's more like you've conducted a research, let's say probably number of people in a school. You want to know like number of boys, number of girls. So data analysis part of it is you're trying to like give a metrics to the research you've done. Oh, probably there are this number of females in this school within this age range, or probably there are this female in this school who probably like have girlfriend, our boyfriends rather, or maybe like definitely like conducting, I was like doing some metric behind the research, probably for a product that you're trying to sell, to really know what number of people fit into each segment of your research.
Great. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. Aston, you can unmute yourself again.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, is there someone else?
You said Aston?
Well, you know what? Yeah, Aston, you can go first, and then you can go afterwards.
All right. So, so for me, when they talk about data analysis in market research, just my personal opinion is that with the research was just between you and your client. You just heard from them specifically. But I think there is something behind, you and the client and just the talk or the data you got from them. There are competitors, there are feelings or maybe the meaning deeper than the data you gathered. So that is obtained from data analysis from the market research. So basically, market research was just a process of just getting the information. And the data is now when you get in, dive deep, maybe discover patterns or something more that can help you reach the users. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much. Edikam, you can go now.
Yeah. So I'll just say data analysis is taking all the material you have, quantitative and qualitative, and then breaking them down into thematic areas, figuring out what the data is telling you, generate your points, and then use that as insights to make action-based decision making, evidence-based decision making. So that's about it.
Great, thanks so much. And yeah, I can see in the chat here, Andrea said getting to understand the data you found in research, figuring out what each detail means. And Yaya also said, yeah, it focuses on extracting insights, trends from large data sets to inform decision making. The keyword here is decision making and deciding on the creative direction or business direction. Yeah, thanks again for the participation. You guys are great, and you pretty much are right. Yeah, so data analysis is it's a stage within market research. So I think one of the maybe misconceptions that people might have is they think market research is like one thing. Some people will say that market research is just data collection. Other people will tell you that market research is pretty much the analysis part, but it's actually like a whole set of stages. It's a whole cycle. So it comes from like one identifying and refining the problem. What is the question? What are you trying to solve? To developing the research approach, which is okay, for this specific problem that I'm trying to solve, this is how I'm going to go about it to get the data that I need. What data do I need? How am I going to collect it? Who's going to be in charge of it? And then you do the actual conducting of the research. Then once you actually collected the data, is okay, so now how am I able to actually make sense of this data? Like you guys have been saying, you have to format the data, you have to be able to analyze it, you have to be able to analyze it. You might have a mix of quantitative or qualitative, or you just might have one of both. And integrate with a bit of desk research, being able to actually interpret the results, because there's like you analyze to the point where you actually get the results, and now you actually have to give life to that data. So what does this mean for my business? What does this mean for the problem that I'm trying to solve? And then being able to actually communicate that in a way where it's effective and impactful. And then, of course, after that is when you start taking action of, okay, I've talked to 100 people, they've told me this. I decided now that I'm going to create a fintech company. Or I've decided that I'm now going to launch a specific prototype to see what it says in the market. But yeah, but that's pretty much like it's a whole structured process. It's actually a very scientific approach and a methodical approach to it. But that's pretty much it. And of course, the analysis part I think is the most interesting part of it, because that's when you really are able to, really give a launch pad to be able to, take action. So now why conduct market research? You conduct market research essentially to have happy customers or happy beneficiaries, depending if you're doing something that's for profit or non-profit, but it's really about the end user. Because usually when people come up with ideas, we usually think of ourselves, but what you really should be doing is to think about the end user, the person who's going to benefit from it. And which is why with market research is good, because you're able to, go from like ideation to actually making an impact to a certain extent, because with market research, you're able to test your ideas. You're able to test your ideas before you even have to spend money to do anything. because asking questions is free to a certain extent, of course, but it helps you be able to really uncover a lot of the assumptions that you might have had, and even uncover things that you might have not even thought about yourself. And the best way to always get feedback is directly from the market. So that's why it's important to be able to conduct market research, because it allows you to make the right decisions without making too many mistakes, because mistakes are costly and they also take time. So yeah, so that's pretty much like the essence of like why you should be conducting market research. So yeah, so in terms of like how we help companies, just to give you more of like a concrete example, so we help companies to be able to organize surveys across the continent. So whether it's an existing company that already has a product that's on the field and they want to get more feedback from the actual field about how they feel about it, how they perceive, what are the different pain points they're having, whether it's someone who's trying to expand into a new country, whether it's just an entrepreneur that's trying to build a new product and wants to get an idea of what are the different problems that the market is going through, and maybe what are the existing solutions. We help them to collect that data. So we have our own web platform where people create their questionnaires. We have our surveyors on the ground that can go and actually find the specific targets that you're looking for in every country that we're present in. And then we also have our dashboard of results where people can see the results in graphs, do their analysis, and kind of like move forward from there. So yeah, so in terms of like the types of projects we worked on, so we worked with different types of companies, from like Google to Chippercash to the European Union to Yoko, and different types of studies, from like customer satisfaction to market segmentation to testing new concepts, and even just simple opinion polls just to get an idea of what people think. And yeah, and just to end it right here, I think more like on the benefits, which kind of like I think sums up like everything that we've talked about. So market research is very helpful, when you're trying to innovate, when you're trying to expand into new areas and new markets and new countries. It helps. It's really essential to be able to make well-informed risks supported by data, because when you're launching into something new, of course you're taking a risk, but with market research, you're going to help mitigate that risk to the point where you have less chances of failing, which is kind of like the main goal of everything that we're doing. And it can help when it comes to like identifying your brand weakness and strengths, understanding consumer preferences or needs. It can help you determine your strategy when it's for like marketing, business development, product development, and it also helps reduce assumptions. And like all of these are like the benefits of being able to conduct market research, not only just as a one-time thing, but really as part of like your general process. So yeah, so this is a question, but this is a rhetorical question, so you guys won't have to answer. Which is, do you believe in the AI hype? So as you guys might have seen, I think it's been quite a thing now for the past couple of 2 years, I'd have to say, is that AI has been taking over the world, as we can say, and we've been seeing a lot of things happening, and the question is like, of course, behind all the hype, because usually when you see, and I'm getting some interesting, actually you guys can actually put in the chat if you actually believe in the AI hype or not. I'm actually curious to see what you guys are thinking about this. So you can okay, so yeah, as we can see, well, how can we not believe at this point? Well, I mean, there's room to not believe, of course. But yeah, AI, I think AI, and we can even see it from the chat here. I think there's a lot of optimists. There's also a couple of skepticals. I think I lean more on the skeptical side, but I'm like a skeptical optimist. Like I believe in it. I also do think that it's not as simple as, oh yeah, Aston, you wanna, yeah, you can chip in, Aston. You can unmute.
Yeah, so about the AI,
yeah,
I am also same as you, because I think we are overhyping, because I think it's the same thing that happened when the calculator was invented. They were like, a a week later, something that adds up numbers as quick as that. So, but later they just lived fine as if nothing happened. So I think AI is good and it's going to change a lot of things. But again, yeah, everything is gonna just be fine as life will continue, life will move. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks. Thanks for that. Yeah. I think for us, it's pretty much. I think AI. Well, at the beginning, there was a lot more hype. Of course, people were still learning to understand it. But I think as time has gone on. I think people are now finding like actual use cases to AI. So just to give you like a run through like in terms of like the research space. So now we're getting a lot more use cases of places where AI is being very helpful. I think where it's going to be the most helpful is especially like less replacing human intelligence per se, because you can't really do that. But I think it's more of like helping us speed our processes, especially in terms of automation. And I think we have that response right there. Yeah, it's really about like, how can you do more interviews quicker? Because if you're going to do qualitative interviews, if you're going to do like 1 hour sessions on your own, and you want to do 20 of them, it's going to take a lot of time because it takes a lot of brain power. However, if you're able to do like unmoderated interviews with AI agents that can do 100 in 2 days, then you're doing something interesting. If it's going to take you 10 days to do analysis of like a large data set, right? AI can help you analyze that data in 48 hours or even less, and I think those are the use cases in which AI will be helpful, not only in research, but also I think in other spaces. And for us, for example, at Luca, is kind of like what we're kind of like experimenting around it a lot this time, is really around like helping like with input of data collection. So how can we use voice data collection to be more inclusive, helping people who are maybe illiterate or are not able to fill in online forms to be able to still participate in that sense and have their voices heard. How can we help clients who are not necessarily research mature to be able to do still data analysis and get the insights so that they can make proper business decisions and build the best products. So of course, the hype hasn't been so fun due to the cost of the tools. Yeah, I mean, hey, things cost money. People have to make money at some point. But I think as time goes on, of course, it's gonna go cheaper because the rate at which it's evolving is quite a lot. But yeah, and this was my AI segment. I just felt like I needed to do it because it's a thing, and I think it's something interesting to talk about. And thanks everyone for your participation. I really appreciate it. So this is the end of my presentation. But I think we can quickly go on the opportunities. So just to kind of like reiterate what I had mentioned at the beginning. So YUX is one of the largest African design companies with around like now 40 to 50, full-time people working across different countries, of course, between Dakar, Nairobi, Abidjan, Accra, Lagos, Kigali. And YUX partners with like a lot of international organizations, large tech companies, and like also local startups to help them build digital products that are adapted to the continent. And Daniela, maybe I'll let you just speak about this one quite quickly before we go to the questions. But this is the opportunity that are currently available.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Serene. So as he said, we are recruiting now a junior ML engineer researcher. So we want to recruit a person who is going to contribute to the evaluation and localization of LLMs and AI agents based on the diversity of African context. So the screen. Yeah, so I don't know, I think all of you has access to the dashboard of ALU where we can see all the opportunities. But anyway, I can still share the job description, and there you will see the mission and the criterias and everything. But then here we can see the criteria, just 3 criteria that we want to specify that if you are going to apply, make sure that you have 2 concrete ML projects, machine learning projects, and then you have I don't really know how to pronounce it, the GitHub link or similar, where we can see all your project there. And also we want you to have an experience with LLM fine-tuning, training, and deployment. Yeah, okay, I will share I'm going to share the link. And also if you want to apply, you can send your resume, your portfolio, links to your work, and just few words of motivation, not really a formal letter, but just few words to the alu@yux.design. Let me just share the link quickly. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, and also apart from that, if you want to apply, make sure to apply by Wednesday next week, because we are still in the recruitment process. I shared the job description with Patrick 1 week ago, and I think I saw it on the website of in the job board, but then we received some applications, and we are closing the applications next week, Wednesday. So yeah, I think that's about the recruitment part.
Okay.
If you have any questions, feel free.
Yeah. So well, there's one question here. Yeah, so we've gotten to the point of the Q&A answer. So Q&A about anything, whether it's about the job opportunity, whether about the presentation, feel free to fill in your questions in the chat box. I think we have like a good 10 minutes to answer any of the questions. So Daniela, there's one question from Elikam, which is any opportunities for relatively experienced researchers without computer science-based knowledge? So pretty much for people who don't have like necessarily is the ML engineer / researcher the only opportunity available at the moment?
Okay. Yeah, the opportunity available at the moment is it's only this junior ML engineer researcher.
Okay. But I think there's also like the spontaneous applications that people can send it to, just in case, so that when we have like it would be.
Yeah, okay. Yes, we have the spontaneous application, and then we'll see if we have any opportunity available. Actually, when we receive applications, we keep all the applications on our database, and then if we have any opportunity available, we can see we will contact you.
Yeah. So for those who are interested in still like in the design / research side, you can send in your spontaneous application so that it's going to be stored into the database, and then whenever there's going to be any open opportunities, which happens quite frequently, then we'll be able to contact you back.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. So for people interested in learning, what do we offer? That's a good question. Well, there used to be the academy that used to organize a couple of cohorts every once in a while. So I suggest that okay, there's a couple of things. There's already a lot of content available on the YUX website. So if you're just interested in learning about like, research, design, the processes, and actual case studies of what the work that has been done, then you can go on the website, read through the blogs, the case studies, and okay, cool. Yeah, the case studies and all the different types of content that's available there, just for like, general learning. And then the academy used to organize, of course, cohorts of sessions where, specific like training for people who are also interested in learning research and design. I think following YUX on the socials, whenever those opportunities may arise, then you'll be able to see them. So yeah, so for now, that's what I can give you as an answer.
So I just wanted to before you go, Ivan, I just wanted to just provide a bit of input because it's obviously not the first time we've been interacting with YUX. It's certainly not the last time. And every single student that has engaged with YUX and worked with them or for them has taken a lot out of these experiences and grown quite I wouldn't say exponentially because that's throughout the life, but the growth and the development was very, very apparent, very, very obvious. On top of the very interesting projects that are worked on within YUX, I think something that's really good to iterate or reiterate, and I've had this conversation with Jan before, is the mindset that YUX appreciates to really contribute to the continent and to solving problems, but also from a personal and individual perspective is, get ready to do things pretty much, right? Get ready to contribute, get ready to participate, get ready to brainstorm and provide your contribution to something that's, bigger than you. And it's a point of view that I really appreciate, and I think is what brings a really interesting team together at YUX. So I just wanted to mention that. Ivans, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I had a question. You said something about the market research. You said you check like the feasibility of a product. So does that mean you get approached by like businesses or like individuals that have a product, they're just not sure how feasible it is? You help them with their market research and then you like finalize the product. Is that how it works? I'm just a bit confused on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. So well, it depends. We received, yeah, so we work with businesses, individuals that come at different stages. Some people come at like early stage where they don't have a product and they're trying to kind of like figure out what to build and what problem that they want to answer. Some will come us at a different stage, at a more advanced stage where they already have a product that's live or a service that's that's live, and they're trying to get like feedback so that they can improve what they have. And others are like, okay, we have our established products, we have our businesses running, and we're trying to like venture into new things. So then they want to, okay, we want to learn from our segments to see if there's any other issues that they're experiencing, or we want to do the same thing, but it's like a Kenyan company and they want to go now to Nigeria. So they're like, okay, we want to know more about the Nigerian market. So essentially what we help companies do, like in the most simple way ever, so that's less confusing, is that we help them get the insights that they need to be able to make their business decisions. So whether they want to, develop a new product, whether they want to improve their current services, whether they want to enter new markets, whether they just want to, get a bit of sense of like, okay, what is the current satisfaction level of their current customers, their current clients, we help them get those insights. And then using those insights and the data that we collected, they then take the action of like what to do next.
All right, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
I don't know if this is going to turn into a question, but I remember at the time when I first heard about Rwazi, for example, and maybe this is the same need that was identified by YUX, is that, and Luca, the need for Luca, is that there was a lack of primary data, or primary data was really, really difficult to come by on the African continent. Maybe could you speak to that a bit, Serene? How from that idea,
okay,
the quest to solve that problem, pretty much, right? If you can maybe touch on that, I think it will be interesting.
Yeah, I can touch on why I decided to make my life hard. The main thing that we were facing through, and this was, so you can imagine the context is like, this is around like 2019. So this is pre-COVID, of course. I think things have accelerated, but especially at that time, yeah, there was no data available. I think the data that you'd be able to find if you're going to do like a simple Google search is, sometimes you'll like find data that's like 2010 and you're like in 2017 and it's very outdated. Sometimes you just can't find what you're looking for. So the main basis was, okay, there's a big data gap in Africa, and the only way that you can actually kind of fix it is by, generating your own data. And that's how the idea of Luca came around. It was, well, it was two things. It was one, there was that part of the data gap. There was also two, the thing of like research was still very expensive. Till today, it's still quite expensive, but like, it's like, okay, for the person that doesn't, for the companies that are not even the likes of like the Googles and like the bigger companies that have large budgets and that can, just spend, how can we help people who don't have those resources to still be able to get data? So that was the whole thing. It was like, okay, how can we make market research more accessible? And how can we make it, make it more affordable? Is okay. How now the point is, okay, since the secondary data is not here, so you kind of have to create it. And how do you create it is you go to the ground and you collect the data. And of course, what we discovered is research in Africa is not easy. There's a reason why it's been the way it is for a long time. It's, so many things that you have to go through, which simple thing of like, okay, how do you go on the ground in Zambia in the rural areas and get data from those people? Which is a simple question, very hard execution. And now how are you able to replicate that in different countries with different contexts? How are you able to, get that in an efficient way where it makes the data affordable, which then makes people be able to access the data? And how can Serene from his own house still be able to get enough insights to build great solutions without having the resources of a company that can buy another company for $32 billion? So that was kind of like the whole essence of it is, okay, making market research data accessible is making the data affordable. How you make the data affordable is you need to be able to collect it in a way where it's efficient, and also at the same time you can kind of spread it out, which is like, of course, the whole thing of like, which is like the long-term vision is, okay, how can we get to the point where there's data available to people very easily, which it starts from like, okay, now we can fasten the process and make it easy in terms of like how we collect the data so that people can now get it at a more affordable rate. And which is kind of like our next term, like the next product that we're trying to work on is, okay, how can we get actually instant data available that we can sell to, that we can sell to multiple people at the same time, which makes it exponentially cheaper. And then you increase the rate of people who are able to access the data. And hopefully at some point we'll be so rich that we'll just be like, okay, there's going to be free data for everyone. You get some data, and everyone's happy. And yeah, but that's kind of like the whole basis of why we started Luca and why we're still working on it. And we're making some progress, slow, but yeah, hopefully over time we'll be able to get to that point.
Thanks so much, Serena. I think it's some aspiration to be the Oprah Winfrey of data. That would be amazing, honestly. Maybe before we close, I know we're near to closing. Daniela, a quick question for you, being in the recruitment or on the people side of YUX. What would be maybe three important things to in terms of mindsets and attitudes, most of all, because we're very clear on the criteria, the technical criteria. What is for you maybe three of the important mindsets and attitudes or values to espouse when looking into applying for a job at YUX?
Okay, that's a good question. I think first, you have to be an open-minded person. And the second one, you have to be someone who is always ready to learn, to explore. And the last one is that you can adapt to a multicultural environment. Because actually, at YUX, we have every one of us is from different background. From me, for example, I'm from Madagascar, Serene is Senegalese, and we have Nigerians, we have Ghanaians, and so on. So we work in a multicultural environment, and you need to be to adapt, and also to be an open-minded person and to embrace the different cultures. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Daniel. And maybe one word from you, having grown, from the couple of years back until now. What is one key insight that you can share with people who either want to, make way into the UX industry, or just from their, from being an intern to now being a full-time employee? What is something that, core lesson that you can share with the students on the call?
Okay. That's you ask good questions, I have to say. I think Well, one of the thing is it was two things because I was not like predicated to be working in the UX industry. I just kind of like, fell into it. It's one being open-minded, like Daniela said. Open-minded because you have to be like, really be able to like be open to trying a lot of things, trying a lot of things that won't work and being able to fail and then, moving forward and then finding like actual solutions. You need to be curious. Like curiosity is like the main thing, I think, because you have to be as curious as the company that wants to find the insights that they need. Like you need to be able to convey, want to uncover data that they haven't even thought about, and that's when you kind of have like your value added. And I think the last thing is really in terms of having some sort of ambition, in terms of like wanting to do something and making some impact, because the way you're able, to add value to an organization that you're going to join is if you're, able to make an impact within the organization, but also for the clients, for example. So which means that, you really would want to be able to do some interesting things, try some new stuff, being very innovative about the way you're going about things, not necessarily always following the status quo, trying to be a bit out of the box where, you can be able to suggest, and especially being very proactive in terms of the way you communicate, making sure that you're always heard, making sure that you're always giving your input, even if you're not asked to do it. And that's where, one, you'll make yourself, I think, remembered, but also you're actually being really adding value to the people that you're working with, whether it's the company in which you're with, whether you're working with clients, and yeah. And I think those are like the most interesting part, and not taking it too seriously because it's a very serious industry by default. So being too serious about it is going to be serious times two. So you might, it's also good to like to take it with a light touch so that you can actually go with it because it's already hard. So going on with a light touch is, helps it helps the process it really being a bit easier.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I think as well, you mentioned curiosity as well. I think everything is kind of it takes source from the curiosity and the really the want to find solutions, right? And to figure a way through the blurriness of everything. And maybe most in most of all in this sector on the continent, right? Because of the lack of data and how difficult it may be to actually get a hold of it. So I really appreciate the insights, Serene. I really appreciate the insights and the advice as well, Daniela. I think we're 5 minutes now past time. Again, students, thank you so much for rocking up and gracing us with your questions and interactions. We appreciate you. Again, this is the last event of, open event of the term. We know that next week, I think you'll be moving into summatives. Things will start getting serious for the end of term happenings to allow you some time to really focus on those. We'll join back up in the first weeks of May, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be coming back. We're already in summatives. Well, thank you, Aston, for showing up, even though you're already in summatives. We appreciate that. So yeah, make the most of the time that you have to revise. Do what you need to do hard things, do smart things too. Don't forget. And we appreciate you coming to this session, Daniela and Serene. Thank you for gracing us as well as usual. Massive thanks to Jan and the team. If you can share those with them and say hi for us, and we'll probably see you next time as well. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much, Jerome, and thank you everyone who has joined this call. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a very engaging session. And yeah, hope to see you all soon.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Really enjoyed the session. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. We'll speak soon. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.